Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too. We'd like to thank our sponsor, iZotope, the absolute leaders in intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. At iZotope.com, you'll find a plethora of tools and suites that will enhance your audio production, whether it's voice, video, podcast, or a full production recording session. Check out the industry-standard audio repair tool, RX11, or the multi-tool mixer plugin, Neutron 5, or the powerful Ozone 11 mastering suite, plus tons more. Go to iZotope.com and use the code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 to get 10% off at checkout. And again, the website is iZotope.com, IZOTOPE.com. What's happening? Thank you so much for tuning in to Hyphenate Halftime with me, Randy Randall, your host, and my ever-trusty co-host, Mr. Aaron Farley. Today is Monday, yes, that is correct to say, June 2nd. How are you, Aaron?
Yes, I'm ever trusty. I like that.
Yeah,
like
right?
a mixture of trustworthy and
ever ready.
Dusty. Dusty.
Always dusty. My always dusty co-host, Mr.
Yeah.
Aaron Farley.
Dusty and trustworthy.
Dusty and trusty. That could be that was if we were cowboys. If this was a Western. Here's your old cowpoke, Dusty and Trusty here. Well, one of the reasons why you're trusty is you let me know when there are errors, audio errors in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, here it is. Oh my God. Somehow I missed this breathing. It goes on for about 30 seconds. I clipped it for our soundboard. So whenever we feel like having it in there, I was like, it was the most shocking thing. As soon as I heard it, I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening here?
I know. I thought for 1 second, maybe you took you had a cup and you just took a drink really quick.
Yeah.
But then it kept going. And I was like, this sounds like what happened?
I don't know. It was a mistake of some sort. But
kind of microphone.
I'm going to exploit the mistake and add it to our soundboard of effects.
No, it was supposed to. I was just creating effects for next week.
Yeah, we got to do it. But I'm so glad you pointed it out. If anyone out there is listening to the podcast at any point feels that something was done in error, please reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at Randy S. Randall, or you can write us at hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com and let us know. Or if something ever actually makes you laugh, if it's actually something that's done correctly, then let me know that too. Something I think it's incorrect or correct, I would like to know about it.
At 29 seconds, I laughed finally. 29 minutes. 29 minutes.
Yeah. 29 episodes. I listened to 29 episodes and I finally laughed.
Yes.
Finally happened.
It laughed.
Oh my God. Do you ever fall asleep to podcasts on purpose or by accident?
So I used to. It used to be a thing if I woke up in the middle of the night and I was stressing out about something at 2 a.m. then I had a group of really boring podcasts.
Yes.
And I would put them on.
Hardcore history with Dan.
Dan Carlin? Carlin. Yeah. Either that one or there was, cause I really love that one too. So I'm like, well, if I stay awake, it will be good, but also there's so much information and it's 2 a.m. I probably will fall asleep to this, but that one also does, create weird dreams.
Oh no,
I've never done that.
You're in Vichy, France, part of the underground.
Yeah, my head's getting chopped off by some warrior cult, underground warrior cult.
That's wild.
I don't know. Do you do?
Yes, I have a couple that I like, and I don't want to offend them by saying that they put me to sleep, but there's something about the Australian accent. I think somehow the Australian thing just makes me go,
God, this is
kind of nice. It's kind of it's monotone. It's kind of sing-songy. There's a little bit more lilt, a little bit more melody to it. For some, maybe that's what it is.
Well, and there's probably a lot of vocabulary that is slang that you don't understand too.
Right.
So I feel like what happens with it mostly happens when two Australians are talking to each other.
Yes, that's what it is. There's like a nerd podcast about like comic books and movies that are by two Australian guys. It's great.
Yeah, and so when you get the two Australians talking to each other, it becomes 50 to 80% slang.
Yeah,
and so you're trying to piece together what they're saying, and then that makes your brain work harder, therefore feeling more relaxed. And if you're already sleepy, I can see how that could be a good thing.
It's the secret code to just knocking out. Like, okay, and there's no weird dreams because it's just these two Australian guys. Oh, maybe I wake up with an Australian accent. I've absorbed it somehow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I think it grows out of the thing. Like, I think growing up, like when I was a teenager and then even into like my early 20s, I would just have the TV on. I would just put on Johnny Carson, or not Johnny, but Johnny Carson, I guess, way back, but then like Jay Leno or, David Letterman, or just have on whatever was on late night TV, and it would go into then like, the weird infomercials and things. I always just have the TV on and I'd fall asleep to that.
And you'd wake up
in early 2000s and wake up at 2 a.m. and just turn it off real quick and go back to bed.
Has some like Suzanne Summers
Thigh Master
infomercial, infomercial or something.
I used to doing
or
that.
Just someone selling like it's right now we're selling pink socks, yellow
blue
socks,
blockers,
yellow
blue
socks,
blockers
blue blockers. Let's go. These are great, Jeff.
There was something to it. I don't know why that helped me all through college. I just got used to doing it. But then now living with other people, you can't have the TV going. From 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
through the whole house. So I have to put the headphones on, listen to my Australian nerds.
Yeah. I do feel like I had a lot more restless nights when I was, freelance or whatever. And that even the beginning of teaching, like the first 4 months, wake up at 2 a.m. a lot.
Oh yeah.
Just going, oh my God, wait, what's going on? And, but this last couple months I've been able to sleep. Yeah. So but before that there were the headphones, like the earbuds right next to my bed.
Yep. That's,
and I'd look and it's that like you wake up and you go, okay, there's two good things. If it's literally my alarm's going to go off in 5 minutes, I'm good. I'm just going to get up. Or if it's like 12 o'clock, so I know like, okay,
plenty of time.
I got plenty of time, but it's those times where I had to get up at like 5:30 and it's 4:45.
No, this is too early to be happy about being awake. And
then if you finally fall asleep, you're going to fall asleep so hard, and then you're going to wake up and it's and you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah, that's a bad one when too close to sleep, like the accidental wake up, too close to when you actually have to wake up. Yeah, that's a hard one because what do you do? That's not good.
I have a cat that wakes us up.
That's always fun.
Yeah, just to eat.
No.
He just needs to eat. He needs to eat at like 3:15.
He wants to let you know that's the time.
Yeah, and he's like, gets in the room. He starts knocking things off the dresser.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
You kind of hear the cat start to wind up, like wakes you up. You're like, no, he's about to do something. You can feel it in the room. It's just like,
he starts scratching at like the side table by the bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
If you don't do it now, it's just going to get worse.
I'm just going to pretend I'm going to go to sleep. And then if that doesn't work, then he jumps up and you hear him jump because he's real fat. I mean, because he eats at 3 o'clock in the morning.
What it is.
Sure.
You're not supposed to eat in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he's like, so when he jumps up on the dresser, you can hear it. He's like, cuckoo. Kind of the dresser kind of shakes a little bit. And then he just like tries to, he just makes noise with Michelle's necklaces. He like puts his hand in the
quiet
bowl,
enough,
it just goes,
just annoying enough.
He doesn't knock anything off or anything.
This
He
is our
just makes
ASMR
noise.
episode. We got to clip all these things.
But yeah, and then he waits and he looks at me, and then if I don't do anything, he does it a little louder. And then the second I sit up, he meows and he jumps off and he waits at the door.
Okay, got you. Got your ass.
And then sometimes he has cat food, and so I can just walk to the bottom of the stairs and he excitedly runs up the stairs, and I can just go back to bed, and he just doesn't even notice I didn't come all the way up, and he just goes up and eats.
Oh,
so he's really just being an asshole.
Yeah, that's probably sounds like he just wants your attention. Like, hey, I've noticed you haven't paid attention to me.
Yeah,
You've just been laying
like you're a cat. You don't even want my attention at all day.
Except
all you do is like, yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's the worst. But he's a very nice cat.
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's good. Yeah, no, I remember when I had a cat. There was like the wind up for the hairball or for like the throwing up. Like that's the worst sound. Yeah, the worst sound to wake up to at like 2:30 in the morning. You're like, what? This was about that. Like, I got to get him out of here fast. Like, oh no, I had like carpet in the rental apartment. I remember we had a cat.
And you're like, where is he?
No,
and you can't find him. You can kind of hear it.
This vomit about like winding up. It's like it's about a lawnmower about to start. Like, no. Get him outside. It's not in here. I don't want to have to wake up and step in this in the morning.
Well, ours will bring like a live animal every once in a while into into our bathroom in our room. Like we have a bathroom, attached to the bedroom, and he'll come in and bring, it's usually a mouse, because at night he can get into like our basement area. And it's kind of an unfinished basement. He goes in there and he'll get mice, and he brings them into the bathroom and then lets them go.
Oh,
and so then
chase them.
Oh yeah,
it's a gladiator.
He's never eaten one. He just brings them in there, and he sits and he by the door so they can't get out, and then they will run around, and then he goes and like tries to find him, and
like
then he'll
Saw
put him
movie or something. It's like some
he'll put him in
torture
and then
film.
He'll grab him and he'll jump in the bathtub, and he'll put him in the bathtub.
Now try to get out of this.
And it drives the dog crazy, because then it brings the dog in there, and the dog's barking, and then he doesn't want the dog to get it. And the dog doesn't even know what to do. If she ever sees the mouse, she just sits there and kind of sniffs it and barks at it, but she won't do anything. And then he is just like defending his mouse from the dog. So then he has to try to catch the mouse and take it away from the dog.
And this is all at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
And so then I'm like, I'm not about, like I'm just like, this mouse, I don't want this mouse to die. Come on, this mouse needs to live another day.
Not on my watch.
So then I have my gardening gloves by the back door just in case. So I go to get my gloves on, and then I'm sitting in there trying to catch the mouse, and I finally catch it, and then go to take it outside. And then I think he just pretends to be dumb. Like he doesn't want it. He doesn't want it to be gone. So he pretends, even though he saw me grab it and take it out, he pretends it's still in the bathroom. And even though I show it to him in my hand, I'm like, no, I got it here. But it's like it doesn't exist in my hand or something. So I go out and I throw it over the fence so it can run away. And then I go back in, and he searches for it for another 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
Like, you have to know it's not in here. You saw it in my hand.
But can't they smell it? I always think, these animals, it's like more smell than visual too. It's like,
they can.
I think tell there's no smell in this area anymore. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think it's a thing where it's like, no, I like the searching for the mouse part the best. So I'm just going to sit here and pretend it's still in here so I can search for it. And then just long enough to keep you awake. Yeah. And the last time, the little mouse he caught, he let it go in my office. And so I was like moving bookshelves and trying to get it. And then he gets it and brings it back out, and then it runs back. And I finally like went to catch it, and it was tiny. It was kind of like a little baby. And it flipped over on its back with all four like this, and it was like trying to kind of growl at me, and it's got just its little mouth. his little mouth was completely open, kind of like,
Yeah, it's fighting for its life.
yeah. And then little did he know, I was going to just throw him in the field where he probably, who knows? There's probably hawks and owls and all sorts of stuff out there.
10 seconds
He's like,
later.
no, put me back in the basement,
Yeah.
you idiot. Don't put me out in the field.
No.
I spent all my time
year trying to get into that basement,
making a nest in your stupid basement to get away from all these animals. Now you throw me outside. Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, down there, the cat's just going to get you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole thing, right? Where, we domesticated these animals to keep our living areas free from rodents and vermin and things.
Yeah.
And like bugs and snakes and things. So, as we would bring these animals in, they were like, that was their work to do. The cats would keep the mice out.
You're like, no, keep them outside. Yeah. It's fine. Take them outside.
Don't
you don't have to show me. You don't have to show me. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Go take it outside, please.
As big and chunky as you are, you're still quick enough to catch a mouse. I'm very excited.
Way to go! This. You get gold medal.
He's brought. We're kind of getting to bird season now, so usually by this time, he will bring a bird in and fly. Like it'll start flying around. This has happened a couple times. He brought a bat into our house once. We got a bit
living in nature.
We have these little. Do you guys have bats?
We have bats here too. Yeah, I was gonna say
it's probably the same kind.
It's not. Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah,
we only see them at like sunset.
Yeah,
we don't really see them during the day, and then when it's nighttime, I think it's too dark to really see them.
Yeah, they eat all the mosquitoes and everything.
Yeah,
and but we get a lot of them during pretty much this time of year. And one time, he brought a bat into the house, and then he let it go.
Did the kids freak out?
The kids weren't home. It was just me. It was like Michelle and the kids were gone. Brought it into the house, and I couldn't catch it. And then it disappeared. I couldn't find it. And it somehow made its way out of the house. And I don't know.
So you hope. Could be a large bat living in your closet.
Just a huge bat.
Yeah.
Here's your jacket, sir.
What's up?
Oh,
no. I've had this roommate for a couple of years. I forget when he moved in. It was right after the bat got lost.
He doesn't pay any rent or anything.
He's pretty cool though. No, I like him. He's really nice.
Good guy to have a beer with.
He plays PlayStation most of the day. Just chilling. This guy's a cape, but no big deal.
Yeah, he's a little dark humor, but that's what it is.
Speaking of dark humor, Bobby Burg. have you met Bobby in your life? Is this yeah?
I think so. His picture looks real familiar. I mean, did he spend a good amount of time in LA from time to time?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's hard to know where the Bobby Burg journey goes. But he's come through mostly. I've seen him mostly on tour with Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him in Los Angeles. But it sounds like the story took him a lot to New York and Ohio and Chicago.
Yeah.
But very, very, I've loved seeing everybody's comments just on the Instagram posts about the episode too. It's like, he's the best dude. He's a great guy. Oh my God, that's Bobby.
He's like one of the guys,
the underground hero.
Yeah. Like everybody knows.
If you played live music in Chicago in the last, 20 years, you've probably met Bobby.
He's the guy.
One or another. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible too. Cause I have gone through Chicago on a couple, we used to go there for kind of like those MySpace secret shows and we shot some cool bands and stuff there. And I feel like, he looks.
I don't know if he worked at the Empty Bottle. He might have worked at the Empty Bottle, but I feel like he was always at the Empty Bottle.
Okay.
If that venue in Chicago.
Yeah. That's where we went twice.
So you've probably been, exactly. You probably met Bobby at the Bottle. That's a great venue. It's really world class kind of.
I love Chicago.
200 cap, club. I feel like everybody kind of pays their dues going through there, or just selling out that bottle was one of those accomplishments. Like, this is so much fun. This is crazy.
Did it.
It's just such a good room too. I think Chicago is just an incredible music town. It's an incredible town regardless, but one of those places that I had no idea about as a kid outside of Blues Brothers. And like Perfect Strangers. I didn't know what Chicago was like. And now I have to say, going through, the last 25 years, like just, at least once or twice a year being in Chicago at one point or another, it's like, this is one of the best cities on earth. It's really fun. Good people. Like the bar per capita number, I think is like almost 1 to 1. There's like a bar on every corner.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I've been to Chicago only, I guess, a couple times, like 3 or 4 times. But like I remember going once and it was the most beautiful weather, just perfect summertime.
You were there for the one week in
muggy.
summer. Yeah.
And then the other time, like one of the other times I went, it was -10, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe -20. It was real cold.
They put the wind chill factor in there, and you're just like,
yeah. And it's just the wind is whipping up off the water, and everything is just frozen. But it's more than frozen. And in the Northwest, like we would get every 5 years.
That was the White Zombie Rejected song. More frozen, dad frozen,
more frozen,
cold
frozen.
Yeah, I think that was the Rejected title.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That beard was all frozen when he was in the video. I think I remember
exactly,
that. Yeah. But he and we would get like one of those every 5 years up in Spokane. You know, we would get one winter that had like a weekend that it was -5 or -0, whatever, or -10 or whatever. But this was like, oh no, this is just a weekend in Chicago in the winter.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So no one was freaking out. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is so cold.
Got your gloves, got your boots, got your hat, got your other gloves, your other coat, your other hat, and put them all on top of each other.
Yeah. And everybody comes in like with the gloves on and everything, like, and then what I remember is that the venue had like jacket hooks when you walked in, and everyone like put their jackets up and stuff.
I'll take things that don't happen in LA for 20, Alex.
Yeah.
A venue that has jacket hooks.
Yeah. But I really loved it. And of course there's like a million amazing bands that come from Chicago. And I think, you know, Portland is similar in that way. Seattle is similar in that way, where that there's 6 months minimum out of the year of like, well, what else are you going to do? You have to be inside.
Right.
So it becomes this kind of area, like it becomes a place where inside is a thing that breeds people getting together and doing things and making
creative things.
I mean,
or doing stuff. Yeah.
Because even Chicago is like all of the theater and the comedy and everything that came out of Chicago as well. It's like, well, yeah, because everybody's inside and they have to hang out and do things inside.
Yeah.
Like this, you don't want to go anywhere. It's too cold.
I just think it's a cool city too, just for its proximity or sort of gravitational pull of the Midwest. You know what I mean? Where there are so many neighboring states and suburbs and other, you know, towns, but it sort of feels like there's that, like, well, you go to Chicago, it's probably going to be affordable. You can find a place. Yeah. And so you sort of pull from like the talent and resources of all these other like outside communities and bordering states, you know, even like Bobby coming from Ohio and settling in Chicago. It just sort of feels like if you're doing stuff, it's not a big move, you know, to just bounce over, you know, a couple hours. Where I feel like Los Angeles sometimes is like a weird island. Like all the neighbor, you know, it's like Phoenix. It's like, well, everybody that's in Phoenix is come here, but everybody just, or it's just this thing to where it's people from all over the world kind of land in LA. It's not a specific kind of pool of people who are like, oh yeah, okay, we come, you know, like everyone sort of lands here for whatever reasons, Hollywood or work otherwise.
Well, and also LA is just weird because it's so spread out. So when people say like, oh, I live in LA, where do you live? Santa Monica. Like, it is. It is, and it's not.
Right.
Like, where is LA? Well, I guess it's wherever you are.
Right. And where Chicago is kind of a little bit more
LA,
localized.
Because or just any of those towns. Like it's smaller too, right? So there's actually a central hub. I think Seattle's like that. Portland's like that. It's like when you get to the couple million people or less, it's still small enough to be a one place. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you get to LA, I mean, even I guess like San Diego is kind of like that a little bit too. It's like small enough to where like there's a central area.
Yeah.
That LA just gets tough. that way.
It's a weird one. I think LA is that on the younger side of development for like population booms post cars. It just changes the way like the concentration of population, can kind of spread out horizontally.
Yeah.
Versus having to go vertical, like a bigger city like Chicago or New York.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still feel like I kind of live in LA, even though I'm like nowhere near LA. An hour and a half away and up in the mountains and all of that. And I still feel like connected to the city because there's enough. I mean, I was there forever. I think if I moved directly here from somewhere else, I would definitely not feel like I was in LA.
Well, I think, you know where you are. You're in the term that I like the weather people use on the news, or you're in the Southland.
Right.
I've never heard anyone else ever use this term in real life. For all my 40 years, I grew up and lived in this area. But you're in the Southland, the greater Southland area.
Yeah.
Like, welcome
which
to
is
the
700 million miles. Like it's just so much area.
Yeah. I think south of what is it? The Grapevine. From Grapevine to Tijuana is the Southland.
It's the Southland.
And that's what you report on for traffic and weather, news, anything that happened between those
because
areas.
someone from the bottom of that area could be working at the top of that area.
It's true.
And probably
you need to know what the traffic's going to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good amount of people that drive 2 to 3 hours every single day for work.
Oh my God. So I can share. So this is breaking news. This just happened this weekend. I just got back from Catalina. I hadn't been to Catalina. Only went once when I was in junior high for like a school thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever go out to Catalina with the kids, or have you been?
Yeah, I've been out there twice. No, just once. I've been out just once. Not even with the kids.
What were you doing out there? What was your experience?
It's like Jeremy's birthday, maybe 40th birthday. So it would have been 10 years ago.
Catalina wine mixer.
It was I don't know. Yeah, it was just like we all rented it was just like a weekend. Went out there. None of us had ever been there before, and we're like, seems like a fun weekend. Went snorkeling and did some other stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So I was out there with the Operation Creative Freedom, the mural team.
Oh, so you were out there with Jeff.
Which Jeff? Yes, yeah. There's two Jeffs, exactly. Yeah, was he posting?
Well, he posted something, and then Michelle was like, "Wait, is Jeff doing the school out there?" Because I think maybe Michelle is working on that school.
Oh, cool. The Catalina
working on a
school,
project,
the Avalon K through 12.
Maybe
place. Oh, it's a great. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
don't break any NDAs. But
I mean, she's not, there's no, I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Who knows? You don't know anything. You're just a husband. No. What do you know? But it's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. It was really fun to be out there. Yeah. I had dinner with Jeff and Chris Johansson and the whole crew, but Eric puts together this amazing group of people. And the last school it was at was our school here for our kids, our local school for our kids. And it was really fun. And Eric invited me if I wanted to come out and play some music with the kids at the campus. But what I didn't know is the school there in Catalina is part of Long Beach Unified. And the people that go to the students at the school are mostly or all people that live there on the island. But the people that live on the island are mostly like service workers, people that work for the hotels and restaurants and, and all the kind of tourist industry things. So it's not like, I didn't know, I was like, is this a rich kid school or who lives on the island? I don't know, but the majority of it is people who are in the kind of the service industry that support all the tourism that happens. And it was wild, man. This is my first time, really going as an adult. I think I was probably 12 years old last time I was there. But it's so easy to get to. It was one of those kind of things like I had no idea. Like, what am I doing? I showed up and got on a ferry for an hour and landed, and it felt so different.
And it's a fun ferry ride too.
It was easy. Yeah. I don't know. It was I think people were drinking beers at like 10 a.m.
As you would.
Yeah.
Just like taking an early flight.
It kind of, it was kind of like a mix between like, I don't know. We just don't have a lot of ferries in Southern California. I've done ferry crossings in like the UK to France and, or Ireland and in those European ferries. But this is a very kind of like party atmosphere, the whole thing. Like the whole town just feels like it fills up with like drunk tourists from Friday to Sunday. And then
Makes sense.
Go home
Yeah.
sunburned and hungover. That was sort of what the crossing was like this morning. Everybody's like, okay, all right, just get on the boat.
Yeah, I feel like that's what ours was 10 years ago. Was trying to there was a lot of karaoke that happened.
Yeah, well,
on that Saturday night.
The restaurant we were eating in, we had like 20 people, like half of them from Japan, all these artists, and we took over like a half of a restaurant just to have dinner, and then right as we were about to pay the check, all the lights turned off and a disco ball came on, and the whole restaurant turned into a karaoke bar.
Yeah, it's probably the same place we were at.
Right.
I mean, there's only so many right. places there.
Yeah. I was fascinated though, but but the other thing I was saying is a lot of the teachers for the school commute on the ferry
from Long Beach.
From Long Beach, or they don't live on the island, so there's a lot of course. Yeah, so it just kind of changes the just sort of the dynamics of the school and sort of the resources and what they have there and how it all works.
Right, because you have to get on a ferry.
You do a long drive. But you're not getting on a boat.
I don't have to get on the boat. I feel like
one thing to make you feel good about your drive in the morning. Well, at least I'm not on a boat.
Yeah, at least I'm not someone who gets seasick on the way to work every day.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds awesome. I guess I hadn't even really thought about that, of how many people live on Catalina that don't like work at one of the hotels or something. I mean, why? What else would you do? I guess you could farm. There's some farms there. There's like a buffalo bison farm, buffaloes.
Buffaloes, is that what they're called? Is that the proper name? But it was cool though. I mean,
That's awesome.
We camped out. Like some of the people got Airbnbs. The school set up some Airbnbs for some of the artists, and some of us camped out on the school grounds. Like I found a little flat piece of grass kind of like behind one of the portable classrooms and just set up my tent last night. And there was like deer just like walking through. It was the craziest. It felt like something out of like some kind of film, where I was like, we went and had dinner and I walked back up the hill to the school, and there was just like a deer like standing in the playground. It was just so surreal. It was just kind of just like, security lights on, everything. There's just like deer just like, standing right by all the slides and all the things. And there's like no one there. It's at night. It's like, this is spooky. But the deer's kind of like froze and just kind of looked at me like, okay, like, what are you going to do? And I took my phone out. By the time I got my camera open, it had just walked off.
Yeah.
But there's tons of deer. I guess there's awesome. Foxes too. But yeah, I couldn't tell. There was like all kinds of like rustling around the tent all night. I didn't sleep great, but it was one of those things that's like, this is like a once in a lifetime. I could always go back there and stay at a hotel. But when do you get to put a tent up in a school?
Oh, that's cool. So how long were you guys there for?
So a lot of the artists got there Friday and used the projectors, to kind of grid out and sort of outline the murals, and then I got there Saturday, and that's kind of was responsible for mass distraction. Just kind of walked around and distracted all the artists as they were working. Okay, and then kind of helped running and getting mallets and paint and tried kind of a go for an extra set of hands.
Yeah,
just to be there, but. It was fantastic. It's such a cool project. And then we go and play music at Eric's school tomorrow. There's like a group of kind of like ringer musicians and things. And so that's sort of the culmination of every year of these murals. They go up, from Friday to Sunday. And then on Monday, we all go and play music.
So you'll go back out there?
No. So we don't go to Catalina. We play at Eric's school, which was the first school where all the murals happened. So it's sort of a way of like, got it. Eric's a teacher in the Paramount area, I think. And it's a trip. I can't believe they set it all up. Like it only kind of makes sense in this one unique circumstance. A strange occurrence has to happen for all this to work out. But it's wild. It was really fun. Awesome. But it was just great getting to Catalina. I definitely recommend, going out with the kids or something. Like as soon as I got there, I was like, we got to come back with the family. Like this is not hard to do, but it just feels, whenever I think about it, it just feels like, this is a pain in the ass to do all this. It's got to be expensive, but it didn't seem that bad.
I feel like even when we went out there, even like I think Michelle and I stayed at one of those little hotels. It was just like, some cheap little room.
Yeah.
And it wasn't expensive. And then even when we went to the beach, we like rented some snorkeling gear and went snorkeling in these big, like, the it was like 25 feet deep, and it was like kelp forest, and there were fish everywhere,
It's
and
wild,
just
right?
all this stuff. And I was like,
just an
this is
hour.
nuts.
It was just an hour
this is
outside of
cool.
Long Beach. You're like, this is just here all the time? Okay.
Not far away. And owned by the, was it
Wrigley
Lay's
Gum.
Potatoes? Wrigley Gum, that's what it was. Yeah, the Wrigley family.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to, I wish I saw more of the island. But definitely, like, I feel like I got hooked. Like, okay, I'm going to be Catalina guy now. Like, what are you into? Like, I go to Catalina every week, every month. I go at least take one trip.
Tommy Bahamas and go to Catalina. What do you do?
Yeah, well, I think that movie Step Brothers had a whole Catalina wine mixer like thing, right?
Oh, really?
Like with the Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
I think there was a whole Catalina thing. So I think there was a lot of people who looked like they were fans of Will Ferrell.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they got their ideas for their characters from. Just going to Catalina.
just
I feel like there was, even when we went, there were a lot of bucket hats.
Oh, okay, yeah. The time of the bucket hat. No, this was a lot of the captain's hat, like in Gilligan's Island.
Oh,
the skipper hats.
Okay,
that was it. Yeah.
Wow, so we've got a big change in hat culture.
It probably oscillates.
Catalina.
It oscillates between Skipper and Gilligan. Skipper Gilligan. You get depending on the time of year. Maybe we're in Skipper season.
Oh, could be. Maybe they don't need full shade yet.
Yeah, it gets a little bit warmer. They could go
shaded
for the bucket.
face.
Yeah, but I think everyone just seems so pumped. It's one of those funny things, when you go on vacation, it's like you're pumped too. So I mean, your adrenaline matches everyone else's adrenaline because you're all there and you paid a bunch of money and bought some new clothes to wear to the thing. But for us, or for me, it was kind of going out there for that work kind of thing. It was like a camping trip sort of thing. So I wasn't necessarily in vacation clothes. I had whatever shirts and a jacket, and it was fun. It's just, you pick up that energy is like infectious.
Yeah.
Like, wow, these people are going out. I had like a big suitcase with a tent and an air mattress and pillows and sleeping bags and stuff in it. But most people look like they just were going out there with nothing. It's day tripping.
Getting ready.
Yeah.
Party weekend.
A lot of like bathing suits already, like, like I said, like 9 a.m. just getting on the ferry. Like, what is going to happen here? And then you see by 9 p.m. everyone just looks wasted, just kind of stumbling around.
Well, so were you on the what's the name of the main town there where the ferry
Avalon?
Avalon. Is that where you were? You were in Avalon?
Yeah.
Because that's the only place. We didn't go to the other side of the island with the buffalo and all that stuff.
I have no idea. Yeah, I know.
Because I think the other side is like ranches and then a bunch of hiking and camping and maybe mountain biking and stuff like that.
That sounds like fun too.
Yeah.
It looks big. I didn't get a full like sense of the scale of it, but it seemed pretty big. I was curious.
Like it. Yeah. I don't
But
know. On a clear day, we can see it from here.
Really?
Or we can see it from the mountains. Yeah. You can look down south and see it out there on the hundreds of miles away.
It's a trip. I definitely want to promote Catalina to anybody.
Catalina's new sponsor.
Yeah. Catalina's a new sponsor of this podcast. I'd like to thank our newest sponsor, Catalina. Why not? Let's go check it out. It's there. It's not that
Catalina.
expensive.
Why not?
Why not?
Get on a boat.
If you live in the Southland, have been everywhere, why not try Catalina?
Catalina. Why not?
Why not? It's just an hour of seasickness to get there, and then booze it up, and an hour of seasickness to come home.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great way to waste a weekend.
At least you're on an island.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. How often can you say that?
Catalina, at least you're on an island. Why not?
I think we have a pitch reel. We could pitch this to them. The Catalina Tourism Board.
Hey.
Hey,
we made it to Catalina.
What else you doing?
What else you doing this weekend? Hanging out on the internet?
Nah, come
on, bro.
Get on a boat. It's easy.
Get on a boat. Why not?
Yeah, but even the whole Long Beach setup is a trip. It's like the Spruce Goose and the Queen Mary. Everything's kind of down. It's like, but I feel like they really did a big redesign somewhere in the 80s or 90s where like the roads all go to your like one destination. I think they have all like the cruise ships there, and it's all like heavily signed, and like it's really designed to sort of just plug people in to all these little areas.
Yeah, I was surprised my first time going to Long Beach, which was probably after living in LA for 5 years or something, and I had never really gone down there. And then going down there and going, oh, this is kind of nice. Like, this is nice. Oh. This is like, I knew of Long Beach from Snoop Dogg in the 90s.
Snoop
and
Dogg.
His Long Beach was a little rougher. Sound a little rougher than what I'm seeing.
It always
Go down
reminds me
there
of
by
like,
the ports and stuff.
it reminds me of like Three's Company. There's like a very like 70s nautical beach kind of
A little
vibe
bit.
still, that's still is hanging around even now, whatever, all these 50
You get
years
that
later.
like Long Beach, San Pedro,
Dabba
kind of like,
dabba devu,
yeah.
dabba dabba, you know, just lots of like just singles and living in apartments and, you know, going to the beach. But
yeah.
it's not necessarily surf bros. It's just kind of like, you know, I don't know, city folk who live by the beach.
Well, I think when I went down there the first time was to shoot a band.
Mm.
I don't remember who it was.
At Coos?
No, there were like 5 of them.
Oh.
I don't know. It was
Crystal Antlers.
Yes.
Yep. At Coos
That's
Cafe.
exactly who it was.
Yep.
No, it was portraits.
Oh, okay.
And it was in one of their parents'
Jazz Cat studio,
like backyards.
That sounds right.
And we went to the backyard, and I'm like, this is the best. There's a boat. There's like an old, like rusty car, and the grass is like 2 feet high, and the fence is all broken down, and there's like telephone lines, like,
yeah,
oh, this is the best. I feel like I'm in the South, but I'm in LA. I'm
well,
just
that's
out
interesting. Yeah,
just out of LA, but it felt like like South Carolina or something.
It's a whole other world.
Yeah, and it smelled. You know, we're right by the water, so it's like you could smell the ocean. But it was like, okay, this is like, it's kind of rough. It's a little rough. But those, because what's his name, who used to do the LA record?
Chris Ziegler.
Chris Ziegler. He was down there too, right? So
probably. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Long Beach definitely had a whole music scene from the late
so
90s through the aughts. You know, there was this sort of famous, infamous house collective thing called the Booby Trap, that was sort of filled with heroin and like skinny ties and cool haircuts and tight pants.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a vibe of that ilk, you know, kind of around the time of like Le Shock was a band from that area, and you know, the Locust sort of had an influence. They're a San Diego band, but sort of seemed like that world kind of got infected.
I guess Long Beach is kind of like a mix between LA. If you mix LA and San Diego,
sure,
like kind of. If LA and San Diego were 2 cars and they just hit head on at about 50,
or some kind of like Jeff Goldblum fly. If you put the 2 cities and they mix, they'd have a dangling Long Beach hanging out down there. Like, oh, is that your offspring? Is that your little dangling participle?
Like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here.
Get lost.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, LA, I think about it a lot because from growing up here, but there's a large amount of segregation and racism that still exists in Los Angeles or in the Southland, you know, in our big area, where it's unusual to even really like call it out, in the sense that, like, from my perspective living here, it's like there's so many places to go, and then I'm like, well, have you been to Compton? Have you been to Inglewood? Have you been here? And it's like, well, I mean, you know, and then like, well, what is it? Like, you know, like, I don't know. Oh shit. I think I'm part of a systematic racist real estate scheme that still exists today, that was probably set up, who's, you know, the architecture of these things were decades ago, but yet still exists. And even just in the sense of like California natives, you know, it's like, well, we just don't go there. Or, you know, I feel like Long Beach kind of is in the surrounding areas, right? There's shades of that. But then there also the feeling too, like I don't want to feel like I'm, I don't know, you know, being a tourist in neighborhoods either, right? Or like just going through, you know, so it's
like you don't have a reason to go there.
Yeah. And like going to like, just, you know, look at people. I don't know. I don't want to exploit things either, you know, but at the same time, it's something to be addressed. I remember it hit me years ago, and it's like, I did research and kind of was reading up on more things, and it's like, oh yeah, this is evil and stretches back so far, but it's still, it's the unspoken sort of thing. Yeah. You still feel it now, you know, as white Southern California native. It's like, I don't know. I've never been to this neighborhood. Okay. Well, what do I do about that? Do I change it? Do I go? Do I not go? What do we do? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was the kind of thing whenever there's like a discovery, it's like, you're not discovering anything. It's just, it's a discovery for you, but there's people that live here. This isn't some like new neighborhood. It was like, well, this existed. And I always get that sense too of just the gentrification of like, oh, wow, all the white people should move here. You know, like, oh, well, that's not necessarily what is, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. It is, especially with such a big city too, because there are a lot of areas that you don't go to because they're just far away and you've never, like Garden Grove, you know, whatever. It's like some place you've seen on the map and you're like, oh yeah, I've driven past all those exits 45 times and I've never thought to go there.
Garden Grove, but it's food too. Like Garden Grove, I think it's like great Vietnamese food.
But I mean, you know, it's one of those things of like, but then there are the kind of bigger areas like Compton and like that you've heard of, and that you just, as a white kid, or not even just as a white kid, you've heard they're like only scary things. Oh no, no, that's in the media, like, that's violent. It is like, there is nothing there. This is it's shootouts. You don't want to even drive through there. It's just blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then, you know, you meet someone from there and they're like, yeah, no, come visit or whatever. And you're like, yeah, it's a little rough, but then, it's not everywhere. Right. It's just like everywhere else.
Like anywhere else. Like, I mean, there's
Echo Park is rough. Yeah. You know, it's like, but only, you know, this couple blocks, this blocks, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's also like anywhere can be a little weird if you don't know where you're going and if you're just driving around. I think
that's one of my like favorite things to do. I definitely love that, especially, you know, when I was single and in my 20s and stuff. It was like, I want to go get lost today, you know, before GPS. Like, it's gonna take a freeway and see where it takes me. Yeah, just try to discover things. But yeah, I can see how it's a funny one.
I do remember once I was assisting when I first moved to LA. I was assisting Dan Monick, shooting photos. Yep, great, amazing photographer. And at that point, he was photographing a lot of hip hop, like rap stuff. And we went down to photograph someone, and it was in Compton. And so we went down, and I was like, we're going to Compton? You know, it's like 2002. I had just moved to LA, and all I knew of Compton was from NWA and Dr. Dre and all of it. And there was a spot where we had to stop and grab something, and we parked and got out of the car, and really the half the block, it was like the record just stopped. Like when we got out of the car, not in a bad way, but it was like, you lost? I'm not joking. So it was like, you guys lost? Like, no, we're going here because we have to go. And like, all right. And it wasn't like, but it was a like, everybody's head kind of looked over. Was anybody noted. That, not everybody, like, you know, the people that were 20 feet away from us.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
What are you guys doing here?
That's funny.
Are you just going, no, we just have to go get water and whatever. And like, okay. But it was a little bit of a record scratch moment of like, wow. All right.
Yeah.
Good on you guys.
Right. But it's not, I don't know. I don't know what's all to be said and done. I guess I don't know if I brought up a topic. I don't really have an answer to the topic, but it's a funny, I just feel like I love living in LA and exploring things, but then I always feel the need to call myself out and being like, well, just because I haven't been here doesn't mean nobody's here. Like, you know, totally. Like I'm not really discovering anything, but I feel like it's usually food related. That's why I always try to like keep my adventures around food. And so I can at least have the excuse that it's culinary, but there is always a voyeurism of just, you know, people watching and just the fun of seeing
going to
different things. Because again, that melting pot of LA is diverse, and the diversity is, I think, what's so exciting and attractive about living here, you know, that it isn't just one story. It isn't a monoculture. But I have to fight against that too, because I find myself, you know, subscribing, you know, or just being grandfathered into so many of like the monoculture stories that are, you know, just like, I don't question, or I don't go like, well, am I part of this? How did this happen? Like, what am I doing? Am I perpetuating this?
Yeah,
I have no idea. because I mean, even, like based on our age, like living in Hollywood, and then it was like, oh, Echo Park opened up. It was kind of feeling like, oh, everyone's moving to Echo Park. Oh, well, everyone's moving to this area. And we say everyone, I mean, with this kind of like affluential, young, white, creative sort of thing,
Yeah.
sort of whatever that early aughts version of the yuppie was, but you just saw the gentrification happening, over and over. It was, oh, it's Lincoln Heights, it's this area, it's that, it's Highland Park, and all of these things. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, but I couldn't see it at the time in the sense that I was part of that culture where it was like, well, I'm young and creative and I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And therefore it's just,
that's where everything was
it puts that hunger out there. You sort of devour up these things, but then you're basically the first wave of gentrification happens that way.
Yeah.
Like all these people move in and there's a coffee shop. The coffee shop has appeared. There's an art gallery. Oh no.
I mean, that was the big question when we started this with
your art gallery in Highland Park,
2010.
Yeah.
In Highland Park, right there where Kitchen Mouse is now. But but it really was, it mostly was an office in the back. And then we had the little storefront, and it worked out that we could start an art gallery, and that whole place, the rent for the whole place was like $2,000 a month or something. And so we could, between the, I don't know, 7 of us that were paying rent there, it was doable. But the main thing at the beginning, we're like, well, when we open these doors, because there's nothing else like that in that immediate area, like, are we just going to get shit or do we just not know, like what to expect? And we didn't at all. Everybody was cool. And we actually talked to people. I mean, also we didn't come in with a bunch of money, changing things or whatever. We literally opened the doors, painted the walls, and put up art. And most of the artists were from LA, from the kind of East Side-ish. And it was a very diverse group of artists and type of art. And it was always open, free. It was free. And the, I mean, I guess we got a couple people that would say stuff, but then what ended up happening is that we end up getting more of the local, like some families, like bringing their kids by, and the dudes, oh yeah, used to be a tattoo artist, or, whatever, like local. And then they're like, oh, there used to be a gallery here in like 1986. And it was whatever wave of art was happening then. It was like a little spot. And then a lot of the families would bring their kids in, because we didn't put up, like, everything was pretty kid
PG
friendly, PG for the most part, I think. And then since it was open too, and we really only had one. I think if we would have had more than one event a month, people might have got a little bit more annoyed, because a lot of them ended up being pretty big, like a couple hundred people outside. People drinking and stuff,
or messing up the parking for the night,
messing up the parking, and mostly just drinking and being like annoying.
Loud.
It's like
loud to the neighbors,
when there's a bunch of people outside, you can't, and there's a liquor store 2 doors down, you can't stop
coldest beer in town.
Yeah, coldest beer in town. And that dude, the guy who had the 9mm on his waist at all times, coldest beer in town,
and a gun.
And you can't really stop people from just buying a 6-pack and
walking
drinking
down the street
it outside and walking down the street. And so I think that more people got annoyed that, like, we didn't have security stopping that stuff, but that was more of like, we had no idea that many people were going to show up.
It's just crowd control and event production kind of stuff.
But what we found out, even talking to a couple of the people that would come in that lived there for a while, and they're like, no, man, it's cool. Just don't try to change things. It's like, if you're bringing things to the neighborhood and you're bringing people here and it's positive, and you're doing things that help,
supporting the liquor store, supporting the taco stands,
supporting, and people go eat across the street and they go get a smoothie on the corner, and like, that's cool. Like, just don't try to come in and try to run the place.
Right.
Like, don't pretend like you own the place. Like,
there's history.
We've lived here for 30 years, and my parents lived here, and but we want new things here, but we just want it to be cool. Like we want it to fit into the neighborhood and not feel like, and eventually the opposite of that happened. I think,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think,
well, Mr. T's Bowl had
I
been
think
there for years before that.
forever.
That was a kind of,
Yeah.
An East Side sort of, music
Yeah.
venue and spot. So
And
there
again,
were other
that
things
place
before
was great too, because it was local bands. And if you
Mhm.
if you were in Highland Park and you started a band, you could go figure out how to open up for bands and at Mr. T's, as
Yeah.
kids or whatever.
Just outlets.
It was, and it was outlet. And again, that was one of those times where I was at Mr. T's as a 26-year-old or something. And we were like drinking in the parking lot, and the cops came over and like, you need to pour, speaking about racism, they're like, you can't drink outside. I'm like, oh, okay. It's in a paper bag. They're like, yeah, that's not a real rule. Like, what? I thought that was
I saw it on TV.
I thought that was a rule. But, I was like of age. So it was like, okay, I'll just pour it out.
Yeah.
And then the cops are like, what are you guys even doing here? It's dangerous.
Yeah. Right.
And we were two white kids. Like, we're going to a show. And he's like, you guys should not be out of here. You guys should not be out here. Yeah. This is dangerous. You need to leave. You should leave. We're like, okay. I'm like instantly like, oh yeah, if we were two Mexican kids, we would be in handcuffs right now.
Yeah, right.
Like 25 or overage enough, old enough to drink or not, he would not be telling us, hey, this is dangerous.
Searching your car, searching pockets,
dangerous.
writing you up.
It's actually dangerous because the cops just arrest people here for doing nothing.
Right.
Like you're the police are the danger.
Right. Yeah. That's part of that system too. Like you need police to have criminals. They're not criminals until the police arrive and say what you're doing is a crime.
Right.
Okay.
And they're coming
outside
in
of
like
larger, offenses or things like that, but just existing or even drinking outside.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Let's go bust people standing outside a punk show doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you if you create the criminality, then you justify your job to some degree.
Right. And so I think that's what those
petty offenses, I think, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, we having that gallery, I mean, it was awesome. It was great. And, we tried to get someone to, the two places next to us, one place ended up turning into kind of like a loan shark type spot where they started there and they were like, yeah, we're doing like high interest rate mortgages, whatever they were doing, loaning. And within 4 months, they all had Mercedes. And then they went to like driving Honda
like
Accords.
Business. It was like just a
it was like a business. Okay. They literally had like 2 fold-up tables.
Yeah. That's money.
And they were in there on computers. And then all of a sudden, like 4 months later, they had like Mercedes. And then the place shut down again. And I'm like, oh my God, this is
sketchy.
Why am I not good at business? But
we'll talk about criminality. Like there's drinking a beer in a parking lot and not being white is not a crime.
And then there's finding ways to get money out of people's pockets and turning it
predatory loan offices or just money laundering.
Yeah, but we tried to get like a little coffee shop. Like we talked to a bunch of people, like turn this place into like a little tiny coffee shop. We'll cut out a hole in the wall.
Oh, right.
And you can have an art gallery in your coffee shop. We'll staff it with someone.
Yeah.
And then that way people will come to look at the art because they're going to see
coffee, see the art.
People are like, people do not drink coffee in Highland Park. That's what we got from 2 different people.
Oh, that's
no
hilarious.
one will drink. Have you been there? And I'm like, you guys,
upscale
you don't
coffee?
even know. You don't know. Like even the local people here, it's like, it's an amazing mix of affluent people that have bought their houses years ago and are great business, and families that have been here forever that are like very successful families. And like, just because you walk around and see like mostly Hispanic people, you really think you really no coffee? And then what? 2 years later, now there's 4 coffee shops on that block.
Yeah.
Packed.
You're just ahead of the curve.
Packed. So ahead. We were so smart. We were so smart. Too bad that whole block sold for like $22 million or something.
No, is that right? That's
something crazy.
Building. I'm a big fan. I think any place that is for children, if it's like a children's museum or a children's like play area or arcade or anything, that is specifically for children, it should be mandated that they have a coffee shop included in it. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Anything, I'm not just talking about like a snacks shop. Like I'm talking like a good coffee shop that you can get iced coffee with all the sweeteners and the things.
Yeah.
Like that's just printing money right there. Because anywhere that's for kids, it's really for parents, with kids. And the only thing parents want is coffee.
Yeah. And parents want, like, they get there and they're like, I will spend money on anything to make me feel relaxed for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, the kids are gonna go play over there, and if I can get a big iced coffee right here and just sit
100%
for while my child does his activity, whatever it is, like
that was the genius.
A little gym, a gymboree. I'm talking anything that's to do with the kids, dance classes, art classes, anything that's kid related. You just need a coffee cart included with it, and you're print money.
100%. Well, and that was the genius of that. What was the other coffee shop in Highland Park on the other side? Cafe de Leche. Or they're still there, but they had the little kid play zone in the back, and then now they have
it's the big roasters.
Oh, really?
Oh, but the snake park across the street. Yeah,
but they have the huge park across the street now.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's like
genius.
Yeah, of course. Plop it all down in the same spot.
Coffee
anywhere that
and
parents
kids
can go. I don't want to look at my kid for like 10 minutes. I mean, I'll watch them, but I want to watch them play from a distance for just a minute.
Just peace and quiet.
Somewhere that's fenced in.
Caffeine.
They can't run into traffic.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If they can fall off stuff, that's fine. As long as they can't run into traffic or run away. And just give me 10 minutes to watch them from a distance.
I have to imagine. Yeah. There's just a, like clockwork all weekend long. That place is just shelling out like iced coffees to moms and dads.
1,000%.
Yeah. Yep. Well, they got the Bob Baker Theater across the street too. I mean, that's kind of kid corner for Highland Park right now.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah.
Is it still temporary?
No,
or is that where they moved it?
It's forever home. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because they were going to completely just redo the old place, right?
That old place. I don't know the details exactly, but they're not there.
They're not going to do that
going
now.
back. Yeah. I just drove by that the other night coming back from the smell.
Is it still just
it's tagged up and boarded up. Yeah. I'm assuming they were going to turn it into more parking or something. That was a tough location.
I guess it was. Yeah.
It was hard to get to.
So Bob Baker's, they must do pretty well at that new spot.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think it's working for them.
That's the best.
That's the
I loved going to those puppet show or the marionette shows.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're on the OG side of it, or the older side of.
I kind of, I mean, I guess,
but it was a revival. I mean, it's been going, since the 60s.
Yeah. But they were,
of this current model, once Bob Baker passed, I think in the what is that, in the late 90s or 2000s? I think then there was kind of a new sort of renewed interest that was promoted. I think he was kind of stuck to his guns. He had a particular way of doing things, and I think the new people are doing the same. But I think they were able to market it. I think to the younger parents.
Yeah. Some birthday parties there.
Those little cups of ice cream with the wooden sticks for what do you call those? For spoons.
Yes. Yeah. We just get a little sliver.
Yeah.
We make your ice cream
splinter
like
in
wood.
your tongue. Like, this is great.
You're like, oh, this is you take the wood ice cream and then you have to like try to wet the spoon so you don't have that, like, it doesn't feel like a tongue dispenser.
Yeah, exactly.
like you're at the dentist.
Okay, just put this on your tongue. Like, this is kind of okay. This is great.
Yeah. Orange.
It's the best.
Orange sherbet and vanilla swirl.
And
circus
wood.
Ice cream.
Yeah. It tastes like orange, vanilla, and wood.
I just love it. That was like the old days when you'd go to the circus or every event that you went to. It just, like, there was nothing nice at like a stadium. It was malts. You had a malt that had a wooden spoon. You had the orange and vanilla swirl sherbet, and you had maybe red vines, but then it was like a hot dog and a hamburger, and that was it. But everywhere, like in the whole country, you'd go to any stadium and it had the same stuff.
It was on lock.
Yeah.
Well, now we live in the gourmet
it's so
stadium
fancy.
food. Yeah.
Ugh.
You can go to the Taco Bell late night cantina and get an alcoholic Baja Blast. The crypto center.
The crypto. Yeah. And it's only $64.
Yeah.
For the medium.
But it's special.
Yeah.
Special time.
Listen.
All right. Yep. Well, I think we did it. Another one for the record books.
Whole hour.
Yep. I will see you next week. Be well.
Yeah.
This is June. This is the beginning of summer.
Let's go.
I
will be officially done with work the next podcast. Right. We'll see.
Exciting. It's exciting. Well, yeah, my son has declared this the summer of fishing. So I will give updates as we fish.
You got to come up and fish up
Southland. Here. Yeah. There must be good fishing up there.
Yeah. We got a bunch of spots.
This is good. Okay. Yeah. He wants to go every weekend or every day in summer. So we're going to find out. We're going to learn a lot about fish.
We have bass and we have rainbow trout. We always just catch and release.
Yep. That's what he wants to do. Yeah. He doesn't want to take it. So
yeah.
I was talking to Mick Fitridge about how to do it. He's a big fisher. He was saying you just like smash down the barb on the hook.
Oh,
so it just comes in and out so it doesn't catch on him as much.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying he does it from the beach. He just gets sand crabs from out of the sand, like in a bucket, and then just puts them on the barb, and you can just cast out from like the sand. I never thought to do
in
that.
The ocean, and then and fishing in the ocean is free. Like you don't even have to have a fishing license.
Yeah.
So, you have to have if you're up here as an adult, you have to have a yearly license, but it's like $30 or something, and then kids are free. So.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, you'll see us up there. We'll knock on your door one morning. We're here to fish.
Come on, knock on my door. Speaking of Three's Company, we got it back.
Three's Company too.